Hi. For those of you who don't know me, I'm John Horton-Young, and I'm a psychotherapist practicing here in Austin, Texas. I have to apologize. This is being done really, really rough. This is not like some of the other videos I've done. I'm not editing, I'm not scripting, I'm not doing multiple takes. This is something that I felt was really important, and I just wanted to sit and do it. I literally was just reading something at my desk chair, and I got up, sat down, and started recording. So here's the thing. Um, there's been a lot of talk with the Me Too movement, which I am absolutely in love with. I am so happy these people are finally getting listened to and have a voice and can feel protected. And there's been a lot of controversy around sexual assault and the way we speak to each other. Now, first of all, I want to be sure that everybody understands. Please don't think I'm judging anybody and the way that they do things. I was in corporate for 20 years. I got to tell you, I'm somebody who jokes around a lot. And I made a lot of inappropriate statements. I would say inappropriate things just joking around with my coworkers in front of everybody. And anytime somebody kind of had a problem with it, my attitude was, come on, we're just joking around and having fun. This is all part of bonding. Get over it. You're not threatened. You're being overreactive. I feel real bad about that now. I could have done a much better job. There was a lot I didn't understand that I understand now, and I really wish somebody had explained it to me sooner. So, I'd like to talk a little bit about what we discuss between each other, especially in a work environment, and how it impacts people. I specialize working with people with trauma, especially early childhood trauma. As you can imagine, I see a lot of sex abuse trauma. It's heartbreaking. And it has a very specific effect on our brains. So I want to help people understand what goes on in the brain of somebody who has suffered trauma. And really, we have no idea who has suffered sexual traumas around us. They're honestly everywhere. And this is why it's so important that we be careful in what we say, particularly at work. Now, our brain has this wonderfully adaptive alarm system. And what it's designed to do is to just react to keep us safe, not think. It's not designed to evaluate or anything else. It is designed just to react. And what it does is it has this great system of learning. So when something happens to us, it takes in everything around us, around our environment. And it learns that certain things are predictors of something dangerous is about to happen. Important point to remember is this is a dumb system. This is not an evaluating system. It's purposely dumb, and thankfully it's dumb because it just reacts and keeps us out of danger. Okay? So, I'm going to give you a little neurology lesson, and I'm sure a neurologist would lose his mind at how I'm going to simplify this, but I don't have to turn you into an aerospace engineer to explain to you why a plane flies. Well, someone else. I have no idea how the damn things stay in the air. But, so, there's our brain, right? Inside, and I apologize for lack of detail on this particular model, but inside here is this little area. It's called the amygdala, and it has several structures around it. But the important thing to understand about it is this is the part of our brain that warns us that there's danger. This is a part of the brain that holds on to all these little triggers and things that it has learned about what's dangerous and then reacts. Somebody comes up and startles you and you jump. That's this thing going off. And this happens really, really fast. So I hear somebody come up and touch me unexpectedly, and this thing just simply says danger, fear, sends a signal down the brainstem. I jump and react. Okay. Now you notice this part of the brain, which we grew later and has developed later, is the smart part of our brain. Does evaluating and thinking and thinks of consequences and implications of our actions. What happens is when we experience something, all of our senses take in the world around us. All right. And what it does is it sends it to two places. It sends it to this part of our brain for it to refine and perfect the images, sounds, smells, and to evaluate what it is that we're looking at. It also sends it here. And so it's imperfect when it sends it here. And it's coming to these places at the same time. This just reacts much faster. It takes very raw data and comes to a conclusion. So, for instance, I suffer a sexual trauma. This thing starts to learn sex can be dangerous. Speaking of sex, dangerous. That's all it's doing. It is not going through the activity that this goes through that says, oh, these are my friends. Oh, I'm at work. Oh, I'm safe. Oh, they're just joking around. None of that is happening here. It can't happen here. It's not designed to happen here. And this happens far faster than this can process. So it hears words coming and it takes that information and it says fear. Because my experience with things that are sexual is horrifying. So it sparks and starts off a reaction. It sparks off something to get you to react. It makes you fearful. It actually sends signals down through the thalamus, down into our brainstem that makes us do things like the pit in like our stomach starting to tighten up, our muscles starting to tighten up. It can, there's a myriad of strategies it will employ in order to keep you safe. Jump, freeze, collapse. I was in an instance once that I very much regret, where we were at a conference table and I was talking to a coworker of mine and made an innuendo towards her. And everybody laughed except one person. And I actually get choked up thinking about this right now. And at the time, I thought she was just being a stick in the mud. She froze there. She didn't say anything. She didn't look anywhere. And she seemed a little confused. That was this happening. And I don't know her story, but if I had to guess, knowing what I know now, she suffered some sort of trauma, and this was getting triggered. And later she did say to somebody, I wish I wouldn't talk like that. And you know what? I kind of thought, oh, she's just overreacting. No, she wasn't. She was reacting like a human being would react. And now, at some point, this does kick in, and it can do a lot of evaluation. This is still generating fear. And even if this part of the brain is trying to communicate to this amygdala area of our brain that everything is okay and you can calm down now, this is still really highly charged. And when this gets charged enough, it will not listen to reason. Let me give you an example of this. I was watching a video recently at a zoo, and they had this tiger that was in a enclosure, and you've seen the ones where people can walk up to the plexiglass wall, and behind the wall is a tiger enclosure. And it was kind of funny. This tiger would come around this rock and it would peek at everybody and wait till there were a whole bunch of people in front of its enclosure, and then it would charge the wall and pounce on it. And everybody jumps and flies back. Why? Is that not an irrational act? Why are you jumping back? You know there's a plexiglass wall there. You know that tiger cannot get to you. You know you're perfectly safe. What are you jumping at? Why are you acting so irrational? Because this thing is seeing an unprocessed image of a large animal with big teeth coming straight at me. And it's saying, holy crap, that's dangerous. And it is sending a signal down to your brainstem telling the body to jump and get the hell out of the way of it. And then everybody stops and everybody starts laughing because this part of the brain kicks in and starts sending the signals to our amygdala saying, oh, no, 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 we're cool, we're safe, right? But you notice, if you've ever experienced, and I've been to these enclosures, everybody's laughing nervously. Everybody's a little shaken because this charge is still going off. My body is still charged up. This is what happens to sex abuse survivors in the workplace. I know it sounds ridiculous that, oh my God, all we're doing is just talking and joking. That's not what this understands. And this is the thing generating their fear. This is the thing generating their reaction and their discomfort. And this thing can take a while to wind down. It can take quite a bit of communication with this part of the brain that I'm okay before it will calm down. There's another aspect to this that's very important to understand, given the environment. This is their work environment. I want you to imagine this is not something that you can easily escape, right? It's where you make your living. It's what you need to support your family. I want you to imagine for a moment, we've got this thing, our brains, there's a couple things that the vast majority of us are sort of programmed automatically to be afraid of. Snakes and spiders. I want you to imagine being tied down and having a bunch of spiders poured all over you. Harmless spiders. And you know they're harmless spiders. They can't bite you, they can't hurt you, they just crawl around all over you. Most of you, like me, I'm controlling this ugh response. Imagine being tied down and you can't get away from it. And all that you know about spiders and how harmless they really are is of little relevance when your amygdala is so charged up and terrified right now. This is not much different. These people are literally tied down and having to listen to this, having to just deal with their amygdala being fired on. I want you to consider this when you're talking at work. I honestly, I really do appreciate how this sounds melodramatic. Unfortunately, it's true. You are literally tying somebody down and terrifying them and giving them no escape. Then afterwards, if they try to say something, and again, I'm not judging. I have been there and I've done this. I've got no room to judge anybody. When they try to say something and stand up for themselves, they have to deal with you're overreacting, you're not part of the team, you're no fun, and all the stigma and everything that goes along with it. So many of them won't say a word. Like that woman in that conference room who I'm assuming was having some reaction. I don't know because she probably never said anything. You know, she wasn't going to sacrifice her position or her relationship with her coworkers. There's a lot of stuff we can joke about. There's a lot of ways we can bond with our coworkers without doing this. This isn't a social situation that someone can just walk away or tell somebody I don't want to hear that. This is their work environment. We're tying them down and terrifying them in a very real sense. That reaction I explained to you, that goes on in the brain, it is the exact same reaction that happens while they're being assaulted. It simulates that exact same reaction, the same feelings, the same terror, the same thoughts. We all have people in our lives. I was going to say women. This is men too. Don't kid yourselves. Honestly, I see more men with sexual assault issues than I do women. They're not overreacting and they're not being political. They're just trying to protect themselves from something that happened that was terrifying. And it's sometimes hard to get a perspective, and I really do understand this, on the impacts of sexual trauma, any trauma, until you have to sit in a room and listen to them. It's not easy. And trust me, you don't want to inflict any more damage on them because what they've been through. No one should go through. So anyway, I hope this was useful to you. I encourage you, please comment in the comment section, even if you think this is just a bunch of crap. I'm fine with that. I'm more than happy to address those things because frankly, like I said, in my day, I might have been saying the same thing, and I'd like the opportunity to address it. So please feel free to leave comments. Thanks very much, everybody. I hope you all have a great day.